Hello, welcome to another episode of Motoring Middle East. Today we're checking out the Chrysler Pacifica, which I think is one of the coolest minivans on sale. I think actually might be one of the smartest, certainly one of the most cleverest, best engineered vehicles I've ever driven. Now you're just thinking it's a van, right? Well, actually no, the Pacifica is a $2 billion vehicle in terms of engineering effort they put into it, and it kind of shows. It's not cheap. Prices start at 130,000 dirhams and go up to 175,000 dirhams for this limited all singing, all dancing spec, which still seems to lack some of the features that we get in the US, but really only just the vacuum. Yes, there's a vacuum in this car in some models. Didn't I tell you it was clever? I'm really impressed with it. Engines are a singular 3.6 pentastar engine, 280-ish horsepower, 9-speed automatic. It's a great powertrain. I've owned cars with it. It runs absolutely magnificent. It's pretty nice to drive, as you're about to see. And I think it's a very sharp looking, handsome car. It looks premium because it is, because it's not cheap. Who puts money into minivans? Well, you do if it's as good as this one. Let's go check it out. Okay, so there's a fair bit of wind noise today, so I'm going to try to keep this as brief as possible so your eardrums don't blow out. Now, I've always had a thing for minivans. My family actually had a Plymouth Grand Voyager in beautiful dark green in the 90s, and what a luxurious, different vehicle it was compared to sort of the Camrys and station wagons that everybody else is running around with at the time. But actually, my obsession with minivans goes back even further to the Chevy Lumina APV of the early 90s. We had seen nothing like it, man. It looked like a spaceship, and the same applies to this Pacifica. It doesn't feel like sort of a hotel transporter spec vehicle. I love that chrome line down the bottom, that sort of underbite that goes all the way around. This is actually LEDs, so this lights up at night, makes it look quite funky. It's hard to believe Chrysler just makes this in the 300 now. It's a bit sad, but this is still such a beautiful engineered vehicle. Purportedly, they spent much as a $2 billion developing it, and they sell 120,000 units a year. Obviously not so much in the Middle East. By the way, one of the nicest things they've done for the Middle East spec, they've got, hopefully this car goes fast. There we go. 18-inch wheels. Not 20-inch wheels. 18-inch wheels. So the ride is exceptional. Love it. Love this rear 3/4 view. Isn't it great? I love how they sort of scalloped out this edge out of the bodywork. And of course, that same racetrack style lighting for this light. You can't actually see it, but it's there. Now, being a van, it's unbelievably practical. And of course, everything is on a key fob. Let me see if I can show you this key fob. This key fob has your lock, unlock, etc. Open the rear door, which I'll do now. Engine start, and to open these individual sliding doors. That's these things. Let's see if I can do that. So pimp. I love it. I'll just use the word pimp in regards to every man. I don't care. Check it out. Look how big this space is. It's insane. You could put a fair bit of luggage back here, and of course you can see all the way through to the cabin. And you've got your buttons here, which we'll talk about that in a second, and a 12-volt jack. All right. Let's see how the magic stow and go seats work, don't we? Oh, by the way, there's no vacuum. The vacuum would normally go there, but for some reason, this car doesn't have the vacuum. I don't know if it's not an option or they just don't get it for the Middle East, but I'd like the vacuum. Honda did it for the Odyssey. We should get a vacuum. So as you can imagine, the Pacifica has a massive back seat. But what if you don't want to have the Pacifica's back seat? Is it a big cumbersome process to get rid of the seats? Actually, no. It's just literally one button easy. There's a row of buttons here that allow me to move stuff. So if I pick this one, I can move one button, adjust the rake angle. That's easy enough. But if I want to drop the whole thing, piece of cake. I just hit normal and stow. This is so cool. I need to come up with something to say while this is happening. There's nothing I can really say. Look at that, it's still going. Oh my god, it's folding backwards. I thought it tumbled forward. Gone. It's like it wasn't even there. There's nothing. So now I'll give you a chance to see what the back seat is like, the rearmost seat, which can seat 3 people, but I think it's more of like a 6-seater, so it's more like 2 people plus one very close friend. Plenty of leg and headroom as you'd expect in a minivan. I mean, this would be where the seat would be normally, but obviously I folded it down. What have I got back here for toys? I've got a button that, wow, okay, reclines and adjusts the rake. I've got my own speaker here. I've got, as you'd expect, hold on, my own window blind. Check it out. You can't really see it that well, but it's a window blind. Got cup holders. I've got some sort of phone holder. Will this hold a phone? Yes, it holds a phone. That's freaking genius. And of course I've got my very own sunshade if I don't want to change the sun. Plus I've got my own AC vent. I mean, this is so clever. I've even got a map light above me. There's nothing I don't have here apart from a USB, which I don't think I have. But unlike a lot of, like, say, old style vans, there's a little space behind me for luggage, so I'm not the crash protection, let's put it that way. I just can't get over how clever this thing is. I mean, if you are carrying people, if you're a large family, this is the van, no question. Alright, so the Pacifica is a 7-seater. Obviously there are 8-seat versions, but this is the 7-seat version with the captain's chairs in the middle, and I'll show you a little bit of what it's like to be back here. Now, sitting in the back, no problem, but in here you've got HDMI ports, USB ports, and aux jacks as well for headphones and things. You also got these flip-up tables for your Blu-ray player. Put them away. You've got a pocket down here, plenty of room for an iPad at least, and a weird small sub pocket here for, I'm not really sure what. It's a nice comfortable place to be. You can adjust the rake. It's comfortable. I've also got overhead sunroofs as well if I want to cook a bit. It's a bit warm today, but yeah, in other markets I imagine the overhead sunroof is a big thing. There's even a sunroof for the back window, but yeah, it's a pretty light, airy, spacious cabin. I've got AC vents here, I've got AC vents over there, I've got a coat hanger if you wanted to, my own little map light. It's a nice place to be, but really the trick of this car is not the seating, it's the fact that you can get rid of the seating. And let me show you how easy that is. Fold these up. Okay, very straightforward so far. Next bit's going to need 2 hands. I'm going to put my phone down. Alright, so press this button here. It's a hidden button. And then that folds electrically out of the way. Alright, now let's see if I can do this. There's a hidden panel here where you can actually put stuff in. You can actually hide a fair bit of stuff in here, or you can just hide the entire seat. Done. Voila! Look at that. It's incredible. I'm in a van. I mean, now I've got a yoga space. If I did yoga. But you've got tons of room here and all the seats fold on. Basically, you're looking at a vehicle that's incredibly easily flexible. And that's what I really love about it, that somebody has taken the time to build a car that's properly engineered. So I just love how this dashboard looks. I mean, check out the contrast stitching, the Napa leather everywhere, of course. What have we got for storage options? Well, we've got 2 massive cup holders. It is an American car, of course. And you've got a little pocket down here for, I don't know, whatever. And you've got a little storage cubby. Let me see if I can open it, where I can keep my sunglasses and receipts and things. You've got so many USBs. You've got another USB down here, a cigarette lighter, an actual legit cigarette lighter, and a little relief here that actually shows the various generations of the Chrysler minivan. How cool is that? If you go up a bit, let's see, you've got another massive bin here for stuff. You've got the Blu-ray player to put in your Blu-rays, another USB, an aux jack. What is this? What is this actually? I don't even know what this is. Another maybe charging point. On the main dash you've got, of course, the rotary gear selector, a parking brake, which is not the one that automatically holds apparently. So on here you've got your typical Chrysler controls. You've got HVAC down here, fairly straightforward, little busy, but it works. This controls fan speed, this controls temperature, AC and so on. Automatic is okay. I will say the AC is struggling a little bit. It's about 40-45 degrees. It's a big car without any tint. It isn't doing as well as it should, but once it gets up to temperature, it's fine. I just don't use the automatic mode in the daytime. You've got your, okay, what is this? Traction control. This turns off lane sense, which keeps it in the lanes. This is the parking sensor off thing, which is good because this one's had a little issue once in a while. It goes a little haywire. And this is for automatic parking. Yes, this has automatic parking. Of course, turn the screen off. This is like play, pause on the radio, and volume and so on. Very nice, very expensive feeling. Typical Uconnect system. So radio, media, etc. Climate, apps. This is the latest one, so it's pretty fast, pretty zippy, and it has Apple CarPlay, etc. and so on. And it's super high res and easy to use. I really like it. Love the steering wheel. Love the bewinged Chrysler badge. How cool is that? It's a shame we don't see it on more cars. Here we've got the cruise control button. So this is for regular cruise control. This is for radar cruise control. So if you put this one, so independent, you got 2 switches, one for regular, one for radar. So you can pick which one you want. This contains obviously controls the distance. But I like that you don't have to go through some complicated system to disable it or enable it. Of course, down here, typical up and down switches for the main info screen, and call, connect and disconnect, and of course this button down here, which if you hold it down does Siri hands-free. Other than that, pretty straightforward. Automatic wipers, automatic headlights, automatic, everything is automatic. It's such a smart car, and for the money actually it's pretty darn well equipped. The only thing that I really want would be maybe electric parking brake. No, correction, this is electric parking brake. A parking brake that automatically holds every time you stop. Other than that, I can't really think of anything. I mean, look at that. It's got armrests, and I love armrests because it just makes all the fatigue of journeys. I've had people in this car from ages, 10 to 75, and they all loved it because it's such a nice, comfortable place to be. All right, let's get this thing on the road and see how the Pacifica does. Okay, so we're about to take, and I say we, I mean me, I'm about to take the Chrysler Pacifica for a drive. Now, this is probably the least interesting part of this because you've seen all the many quirks and features of the Pacifica, but actually I think it's quite a nice car. I wasn't looking forward to it. Every single person who's got into this car has been like, ugh, a minivan. When did you get so many kids? I'm not even married. But you know what? This car has absolutely won me over. I love the weight of the steering. I love the way it feels in my hand. The van feels heavy but solid. The driving feel is incredibly well planted and sure-footed, so you know what you're getting. So it's a minivan that's not boring to drive. It reminds me of the Honda Odyssey, which also was an excellent minivan. That was a van that honestly, like, legit was better than any other Honda on sale. Okay, that was then, maybe it's now. Let's go a little off-road. Ride's pretty good. It's a little firmer than I would like sometimes. I'm going to go over some corrugations now to show you. Vibrating. It's actually not that bad. My truck would be rattled to pieces by this point. Okay, exiting the off-road stage. Why do I always end up off-road? How's the gearbox? I know a lot of people have trepidation about the 9-speed. A little hesitation on kickdown, but it snarls really nicely, actually. Builds up plenty of performance. It's obviously more biased towards fuel economy, but it does really well on fuel economy. It does average about 10 to 11 liters per 100. That's pretty good, man. That's pretty darn good. Everything is so easy to use from an electronic standpoint that I have no issue adjusting the AC pretty much one-handed. Keep your hands on the wheel. Everything just works. There's plenty of like buttons and switches, and I like that. I like that Chrysler didn't go to a silly Land Rover style, let's have everything LCDs. No, because then I can just do this. And yeah, I know it's got a rotary. I don't actually care. I own a car with a rotary and I'm still cool with it because this car is really, really nice to drive. I know it sounds hard to believe because I'll tell you a secret, most minivans are actually pretty nice to drive. They're all rear wheel drive. Actually, this one's front wheel drive, I believe. But they all handle nicely. They feel tight and tidy. You've got the SUV height, ride height, but none of the drawbacks. So when you go into a corner, it doesn't lean around that much. Honestly speaking, this car, that cow catcher, every car slides a little bit. This car is just dead solid. 80-inch wheels, the ride is great. Brakes are fine. Yeah, I think I like the gearbox to be a little bit more aggressive, but who's driving aggressively in a Chrysler Pacifica? So it feels like an SUV, but it doesn't. You don't pay the penalty at the pumps. It feels like an SUV, and you have the ride height, but you can't go off-road. Who cares? 90% of people, I bet all of you watching this, have never gone off-road with any of your SUVs, so it doesn't matter. And it's got all the space for your kids and their stuff, and even as a single person, I'm going, this is pretty practical, man. Like, there's no situation where it hasn't been helpful, except for going to the desert. But it's June, it's 45 degrees, and the desert's over. If I ever stop going to the desert, I'd probably buy one of these. I actually would. I think it's really nice. I mean, it's got radar cruise control. It pays almost no penalty at the pumps. On a 140 dirham tank, I went almost 650 kilometers in gas. That is sensational. Yeah, apart from the AC, which I think really is a case of just needs a little bit more oomph, but fix that, Chrysler. But it's fine. You won't die. It just needs a bit of time. But it is a black car with no tint. I keep belaboring the point. I'm going to do one corner, and then we're going to call it a day. But overall, this has been honestly one of the most lovable vehicles. I think part of the reason is it's so nicely made. Like, it feels so good. The quality is so nice. Like, I love the steering wheel with its leather. It's two-tone steering wheel with the chrome ring around it, which gets quite warm. It's actual really metal chrome, but it just feels like a nice expensive place to be. If you've ever been in a Range Rover, part of the reason it's so calming is it's such a nice cabin. The same applies to the Pacifica. Now, unlike a Range Rover, you've got some wind noise, you've got some tire noise, so it's not perfect. But a Range Rover is 400,000 dirhams. For the starting price, this is 175. And I'll tell you what, the Range Rover isn't 3 times better. Okay, this is a tricky corner. I'm doing it about 100. Squealing wheels, slightly drifty. It's hanging on, man. It's hanging on. I like it. I feel like I should be the first person to supercharge a minivan, put like a Sprintex on it and make it go crazy, and do like front wheel drive burnouts. That'd be awesome. Okay, the gearbox would probably go pop, but who cares? Yeah, minivan isn't you getting old. It's you getting smart. Thanks for watching. This is Imthishan. This is Motoring Middle East. Make sure you like, comment, share, subscribe, blah, blah, blah. Until next time, see you then.